At the end of every workday, my husband and I sit down to dinner, and after a brief moment of thanks, one of us, without fail, will declare with a long exhale before dining, "I'm tired." And the other replies, "Me too." Or sometimes worse yet, we compare our tiredness by walking through our busy days. "You think you're tired?" Well, it's not the best look as I reflect on it for either of us, to be sure. But in our defense, we also quickly point out our blessings. And we'll move on to talk about our day, our work, our children and grandchildren. We try to remind each other of the good things. And so I am grateful to have such a partner. But lately, what I have been feeling has been not just tired, but weary. Tired of facing the same problems, fears, anxieties, frustrations that seem to never change. I am weary and feel like I just don't want to have to do anything. I just want to escape from it all, as if that would make any of it disappear. And I'm not just exhausted from physical labor or even from one of my workouts, but from the space in my head that is filled with a variety of concerns for the pain and suffering of family and friends, broken systems of justice, the state of our broken political system, not to mention my own personal failures and weaknesses, projects unfinished, etc. Yes, I am weary. And today's passage addresses this very feeling that God's people were dealing with. Isaiah is trying to encourage them. They were very discouraged and overwhelmed, defeated by another nation, and once again driven from their land. And in their weariness and despair, they wondered, does God care? Can God's promise really be true? Is God really able to come through on it? They were enslaved by the most powerful empire of their day, and they were at the mercy of its king. How in the world were they ever going to be able to leave and return home? In the ordeal that they were facing, as verse 30 says, even youths shall faint and be weary, and young men shall fall exhausted. Basically, even the strongest among them were overwhelmed. Well, our situation is very different, but don't you ever feel like this? Weary? Like you have no more strength? Like where can God possibly be? For me, when this happens, I know I can feel like God is far, far away. And even though deep within me, I know God hasn't gone anywhere. The truth is, I have. I cannot see clearly. My faith gets overladen with dust, as Eugene Peterson put it. I go through the motions of faith, read my daily scriptures, go to mass, try to do centering prayer, but I am not present. God, of course, is. The truth is, we all go through difficulties, and we will continue to do so throughout our lives. Our faith is not escapist. We don't just spout platitudes that all things will be just fine if you just have enough faith. No, this life is full of trials, and God doesn't just step in and take them all away. God is with us in them. The prophet Isaiah reminds us once again to wait for the Lord, and God shall renew their strength, and then they shall mount up with wings like eagles, and they shall run and not be weary. Well, some days I want to shout, "I'm waiting," and I so want to get up and run free. Kind of still sounds like I want to escape, doesn't it? Well, my Lent has kind of felt like this, strange as that may seem. And these are real feelings for me these days. I'm weary, which also makes me impatient, testy. And like my husband will point out, there's a lot of free-floating hostility going around, clear results of weariness. Now, I believe that I am, most generally, a happy, passionate, enthusiastic person. I love life, love people, love God, and truly love to serve. But when I find myself overwhelmed and exhausted, I find I am going through the motions of faith, but feel nothing. That is why I loved Eugene Peterson's prayer to ask God to anoint my rusty, stiff habits with the oil of your Holy Spirit. Yes, I need your help, God. And in that cry for help, I realize that I need to act too. Isaiah says, wait. Well, maybe what he means when he says, wait for the Lord, could also imply, wait, pay attention, look for God in this, and you will find God. God is calling, inviting. And that's when it occurred to me that I am too exhausted to even look, or better put, even want to look. And then that wonderful epiphany. Yes, it has been a full year since my last retreat. And now, I exclaim, no wonder the weariness. I'm close to being depleted and need my cup refilled. I've stopped even trying to find God in all things, sometimes just too tired. I know that sounds lazy, but it's the truth. And I believe we all hit this from time to time. But I'm so grateful for Ignatian spirituality because I know the remedy. When I am grounded in God, I am not carrying all the burdens. It's not about me, but it's God with me and in me. And I am able to move and love and see more clearly through the messiness of life and be present and be love to those who need love most. We all go through difficulties, whether health crises, financial crises, broken relationships with family or friends, personal failures, or in general, just experiences of deep pain and suffering. We need to carve the time in our lives to form, in some form or fashion, intentionally to give ourselves over to God so completely as we do on retreats, days totally away from it all, disconnected from the world so we can connect with God and let the Holy Spirit oil off our rusty, stiff habits of obedience and bring us back to life. We can then move forward, as in verse 31 of this passage says, they shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. In the midst of our problems, we will walk and not be faint. We will run and not be weary, and we will mount up with wings like eagles. So are you weary today? Do you feel overwhelmed? God invites you to come, to find hope and to strength. Waiting may mean that it's just time to retreat and reset.